chance. Kenyans have to change this country because we are...
Wajackoya the fifth, very nice.
The Wajackoya.
Possessing a source or a stamp of marijuana, which informs me that the man who was arrested recently in Nyeri, that graduate from Egerton, from Moi University, who was only doing a deserving purpose to disengage from criminal activity, to engage himself from an economic activity, to have himself, because of unemployment, to heal himself through the herb. That man was arrested, and I saw it on television. I felt so bad the way the police officers were treating him like a criminal. I, having been a police officer myself before, could not treat somebody like that. That was an inhuman and barbaric kind of degrading situation. I also look at the people who were arrested with the 2 sacks of marijuana in northeastern province. Anyone who is actually arrested with marijuana, the police are fond of calling the media. I would like to take this opportunity to tell our media, the fourth estate, that whereas it's your duty to disseminate information, sometimes just be nationalistic and say, no, instead of taking so many pictures of this poor thing seated on the soil, being asked very relevant, stupid, and archaic questions, instead of being taken to the courts for the lawyers to do their job. The police now become the judges, the police now become the doctors, they become psychiatric experts to start harassing a young man sitting on the ground, asking very stupid questions. And I can assure you that if such cases were in the UK or US, after you have been given your rights to remain silent, there's no any other word that ought to be uttered. But the police in Kenya are misusing their legal authority. And that's why they need to be informed by harassing people, calling in the media before proving somebody's innocence and putting the whole family out there as a family of barrack. And that's why we are going to release. We're going to release all of them. We are going to decriminalize it the way the United States and the federal government in the US has decriminalized marijuana for purposes of economic growth. I also take this opportunity also to thank the Somali community and our representative from Northeastern for having been very much robust. What he didn't tell you is that members of the Somali community are punished twice in this country. They are punished twice because, one, because they are Somalis, and secondly, whenever they go to take their identity card, they have to prove 4 times of being Kenyans than their fellow Kenyans in the other parts of the world. That is going to end. That is going to end. And I can assure members of the Somali community that you are going nowhere. You are going to live in this country, and we are going to reward you by moving our capital city from here to Isiolo, so that you can also know that issues of loyalty to the system, issues of following political leaders on political correctness, issues of clanism, issues of tribalism has to end henceforth. The world is hemp country. We are now producing and introducing a new tribe in Kenya known as the hemp tribe, where everyone will be proud of himself, everyone will be looking at each other, and they will be saying, we in Kenyans, we are bound together by peaceful solution through the hemp because it heals us, it brings us from mental slavery, and it also makes us strong in terms of economic earnings so that we become #1 economic earners in the world, since we are the first country in the world to produce the most powerful president on earth, Barack Obama. And ladies and gentlemen, before I go ahead, we have received a lot of criticism from members of the clergy. It's my humble opportunity to appeal to them to read our manifesto first. Let them read our manifesto first. We don't have any problems with the clergy. We don't have any problems with the religion. We actually guarantee freedom of expression. But please do not abuse that by being very selective. Instead of praying for our souls, don't condemn. If you know that we have said something wrong, call us and say, please, can we have some kind of dialogue so that we can discuss this thing, so that we can have a common understanding. But you have no right to condemn what you're supposed to heal, to condemn the souls that you're supposed to pray for. then if you are condemning this soul, then when we die, who will actually go to heaven? Do you condemn us? Or do you emancipate us from condemnation? Do you contaminate us? Or do you emancipate us from condemnation? Do you abuse us? Or do you heal us from the abuse? What image are you trying to portray? What image are you trying to portray as a man of God? Not all men of God are bad. Neither are we all bad. But when there is a problem, let us discuss it and have dialogue. And I can assure you that even if you go to Rome today, you go to Mecca today, you'll find out that religious purity is within the books of God. And to those that think that I've offended them, I'm willing to tell God today to forgive me. To forgive me so that we can have dialogue. But God, do not forgive me if you know that I was right. I'm asking you, God, not forgive me if you know that I was right. But if I was wrong, forgive me personally, not through another individual. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start our 10 commandments or our manifesto, let me also appeal to you that we have many, many Kenyans in the diaspora. We have millions of Kenyans, or we have millions of shillings and pounds and dollars sent in by our fellow Kenyans who are in the diaspora, and nobody's thinking about them. Nobody's thinking about how to put up structures like what Malaysia has done, like what Philippines have done, so that we can actually be accountable to what we bring in and be proud of being Kenyans. We have so many Kenyans in the diaspora who are who have contributed a lot in the diaspora. And when I say Kenyans, I'm talking of Kenyans of indigenous origin and Kenyans of Asian origin. Kenyans of indigenous origin and Kenyans of Asian origin who have gone out there and they have done so well in their migration theory, and they have made the world feel so good by contributing what they have in terms of brain drain. We now need brain gain. We need to gain from what they have been drained to bring that back home, and let us actually be the first government on earth, the first government in Africa, and the first government in Kenya to recognize the values of the Kenyans in the diaspora, having myself stayed there for many years, where I had to be a mortuary attendant, where I had to clean the old people in old people's homes, where I had to be a grave digger, where I had to clean them red buses in UK, where I had to go through the colds. But I had only one agenda, to come back home and bring what I earned through hard work, through sweat, back in this country. And when I came in this country, I can assure you for free, ladies and gentlemen, and those who are here, those who are coming in to label us, those who are using my name on social media to purport to be myself, writing things that are not right, I forgive them today because they do not know what they are doing. Politics of this kind are very destructive politics. We have had our Excellency, His Excellency the President. We also have had His Excellency the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. We also have had the Deputy President, Honorable William Samoei Ruto, as people who have been, and I respect them, and I'll continue respecting them for the role they have played. I am not here to point at them because they are my colleagues. But one thing I have to say today is that let us have a common ground whereby we don't initiate that in our campaign by coming up with bloggers who purport to be us. What actually are we fighting for in this country? Are we not fighting for economic emancipation and economic freedoms so that we can stand to be counted as men of integrity? Or are we fighting to dirten each other's names? Are we fighting here to point fingers at others? If you find us pointing a finger at any other presidential candidate without actually mentioning the wrongs that are being done to the people, then just ignore. Similarly, if you find some people writing things about us people who are writing things about us, saying that we need to be taken here and there, just ignore. They are seeking some kind of, audacity to be heard. We are not answering them. Don't answer them. With these few words, ladies and gentlemen, may I again laud the young men and women who have come in today, who have sacrificed young men and women who have come in this place without asking for money, young men and women who have come here today to sacrifice for their future, young men and women who are sitting in this podium, who have come from Madare, who have come from Kangemi, who have come from Kibera and Kayole, on barefoot, without being given money, without being bussed in here, without having our men and women singing and dancing before others after the few coins that they have been paid. I can freely tell you that what I've seen here today should be what we should be doing every day. What I've seen here today should continue after the 9th of August. When we take over the government, we are going to inherit a very, very huge debt. Don't you dare be told, and let truth be told today. Some people are saying that in the first 100 days, they are going to do this, they are going to do that. As we are inheriting problems, we are inheriting deficit, we are inheriting financial disaster. The issue of happiness should not be there. Let us rejoin ourselves. Let's look into ourselves. Let's look at ourselves in the mirrors. What kind of government are we inheriting? We are inheriting a bankrupt economy. And for the first 100 days, not 100 days, 500 days, or let me say 6 months, or let me say probably 1 year, we are going to have to work very hard. It will be a period of tears. It will be a period of not ululation, not harmony, but a period of disaster. Because we shall be like, now, where do we go from here? Do we continue borrowing, or do we sacrifice to have what we have? I'm going to sacrifice my gold, the one that my daughter bought me when she passed her exam. I'll sacrifice this. We'll put it somewhere and melt it to cure the disasters of this country for the first 1 year as we grow hemp. We are also going to look at judiciary. We are also going to look at the judiciary and we shall ask ourselves, why were these laws made and who made this law and for what purpose? Were these laws made to injure and punish the poor, to have them last in poverty? Or were these laws made for the rich people? Or to punish young people who have no employment, who have nowhere to go? When they see something like marijuana, to actually treat their emotions, they are arrested and beaten and thrown in jail? Is that what we want with the judiciary? Or do we want to have a new mechanism of judiciary so that people can participate in that judiciary to have proper judicial outcome? Or do we have to have this archaic law from Britain? These punitive laws that were brought in by the colonial masters. And we are told, this is the law, you have to follow it. Whose law is it? We have to introduce what we call subaltern laws, laws of the people. And the only way we can introduce laws of the people is to suspend the Constitution, to suspend part of that Constitution, to suspend the Constitution. When I say suspend the Constitution, the first people to attack me are those people in suits and ties, people who purport to have gone to school, people who purport to know that law is made to be a law. Tunafuata sheria, tunafuata sheria. Hiyo sheria mkifuata namna hivyo, tunaungua. Ukienda nchi zingine watu wamesema pana, let us have alternative dispute mechanism. Ili mtu akiiba kuku ya mtu, tujue ni kwa nini aliiba hiyo kuku ya mtu. Aliiba hiyo kuku ya mtu akiwa na njaa, ndiye achinjie watoto wake wakule to survive. Survival for this. Ama unashikwa na polisi, huwezi kuulizwa kwa nini umeiba. Can we call the owner of the chicken and ask him, look in my eyes. If you are angry like this man, and your children were sleeping hungry, and maybe he has a wife who has given birth and there's nothing the wife can eat to maintain the child, and maybe he was afraid that if he asked you, you'll chase him away, would you really do this kind of thing? Therefore, we need reconciliation at all levels. We need reconciliation at all levels. We need to talk to each other. We need laws that harmonize relationships between people or the hemp tribe. We don't need now to call the police and the chief. Something like Changa. A child came to my home recently, a little boy, and he said, Dad, I want you to listen to me. Then I said, what is it? He said, I've passed my exam. My mom brews Changa. I can't go to school because the Changa that was brewed yesterday to be taken to Marach Estate in Busia, the chief came and threw it away. Therefore, I have no money to go to school. What would you do to such a kind of a child? Ladies and gentlemen, what will you do to such kind of child? What will you do to that chief who comes to pour that drink to deny this boy or this girl a chance? Answer me. Answer me. What will you do if you go home and you find that something very petty has led to someone being arrested and denied his life? What I did is I said, son, I'll take you to school. And my PA is here. Wambua, stand up. That's the guy who does everything that I do. I told him, find out where the school is. Of course, it was just next to me. And get fee for that kid to be paid for a year. On top of that, we also gave a stipend. And as I speak, there is also a young Maasai man in this room. Where's Nchoko? That young man, I met him when he was in Stare Boys. His socks were torn. It was at YWCA. And he came to me, and he's like, I am an orphan. That's why I'm in Stare. But I always thought that Stare Boys was for the best. I didn't know that it was for the orphans. Then I realized that his socks was torn. And I said, haven't they given you school you were? He said, no. The rest is up to him. He has already graduated with Bachelor of Commerce from Mount Kenya University, courtesy of our office. But then do we need to tell the world with whatever little that we do? Do we need to brag that we have done this and this and that? That's why we go wrong with the political entities in this country. They do something small, they want cameras to follow them, so that they are seen to be doing what they have to do. Now, before I continue, let's now look at that, our manifesto. I will start by saying, number one, I don't know whether you can hear me. If you have access, or if your eyes have access to the shutters on the ground, and on the top of the room, our manifesto number one says we shall legalize weed. But I would like Dr. Guada to come and stand near me, because that man is a blueprint of information that this country has refused to follow. This man has of recent advised a president in the neighboring country to start marijuana, and he has started it, though I will not name the president. Professor, if I go wrong, just pardon me and take over. But because of time, I'll go very fast. Number one, 1 acre of bangi can earn you $78,000 or 8 million per harvest. Per harvest. A harvest takes only 6 months. Now, if you have to harvest, that is 16 months, you earn 16 million. Of course, it will come with the tax implications, so that you can raise money and revenue for the government to continue with what it ought to do. The whole of Nyeri county is 583,000 acres. This means that if we grew bank in Nyeri County, Nyeri residents will earn 45 billion US dollars or 4.6 trillion per harvest. Kenya today owes China, or the debt we have today is $10 trillion. Mengine unaweza kujijazia. What happened? Is that where where's number one? Where's number one? I thought we started with number one. Yes. And because Banki is harvested twice a year, it means Nyeri residents will earn $92 billion or 9.2 trillion every year. This means if we grew bank for export, Nyeri is in 1 year, will earn the equivalent of Ethiopia's GDP. If we grew bank in Nyeri alone, as you see, each Kenyan could get a dividend check. In Nyeri, each Kenyan would get a dividend check of 200,000 Kenya shillings every year from the sale of bangi. That's Nyeri only. That means that we shall be very happy with that amount just from one county. Semeni haleluya. Kila mtu atakuwa anafanya nini? Ana pesa yake. Utakuwa na bodaboda ya nini? Utauza miraa. Si miraa ikitoka una export tu na huko na pesa ingine extra. Utakaa kwako ama utakaa kwako? Utajenga nyumba ya mabati ama ya tiles? Tuendelee. If we grew bangi in Nyeri alone, we would build 3 expressways in each county in Kenya. 2 express in each county in Kenya. If we grew bangi in Nyeri alone, Kenya could buy Bill Gates and Microsoft in just 2 years. Canada, last year alone, of 75,000 acres, harvested 486 billion US dollars. And you see all the drones you see flying here and there, they are made up of fiber, which is from hemp. If you look at Canada, this year, they manufactured the first plane made out of hemp, a product of marijuana. Now, if that plane was to land in Kenya today to pick up passengers because of international law, has Kenya got any jurisdiction to go and inspect the fabric of that plane? Let us stop joking. Let us stop being given unfair promises that cannot be fulfilled. We have the solution. And please let me finish. You know, I went to school slowly. I was not metric. There was a point that was down there. But let's continue. Yes. If we grew bank in Nyeri alone, Kenya will have 10% of IMF total cash reserves. In short, we'll never have to borrow a single coin in future. And Kenya will become the richest country in the world. Mount Kenya was made wealthy by 2 cash crops, coffee and tea. In fact, Kikuyus got their economic head start in 1923 when they were allowed to grow coffee and tea. Before 1923, it was illegal for any indigenous Kenyan to grow both crops. Bangi is our next cash crop. It grows widely in Mount Kenya. Question is, if we required the permission of Muzungus, who have now legalized bangi, why should we legalize? We have punitive laws. We have punitive laws which were imposed on Kenyan parliament through foreign aid, NACADA. Na wakati wametengeneza hiyo sheria, because wameambiwa msipotengeneza hii sheria tutawapatia mkopo, unaona wengine wanaenda kucheza hapo akisema, I've now made the rule, I've now made the rule. I wish there was a mimic here. Wanaenda kurejuvenate, putting our men and women in jail for things that are not proper, having punitive regulations in this country that are putting our country outside the circles of morality. That's why we should have morality and solidarity. Repeat after me, morality and solidarity. That is Roots Party for you. But for the others, and repeat after me, is morality and is solidarity and immorality. Solidarity and immorality. That's what you see, and that's how I define our opponents. Because they are in solidarity with immorality. They are telling us lies, package of lies, package of lies. They are not telling us how. We are telling you how. And that is the truth. It takes a man like Daktari here, who first of all started this crusade, went to the Senate twice, was thrown out because the pharmaceutical companies that I'm opposed to, who make medicines, have got what we call the lobbying skills. When they hear that Kenya wants to legalize bangi, they will call in the ministers concerned. Can you come for a talk in Britain? Whatever money is they are given probably, and we know, and have figures, and trust me, I'll trash some of these opponents when they bring, yeah, you get them with bank accounts in Singapore. In Singapore, and I know who has money in Singapore and Dubai. In Singapore, so long as you can pay taxes on monies that you take there, that becomes legal. The wash that we know, the monies are taken to Singapore, they pay 15%, and then they bring it through Dubai to this country. Some of those opponents, let me tell you this, because I have the information, have staffed companies in Dubai to wash money. When the time for hanging comes, I will hang those ones when the laws are there.
Tingiza mti.
Tunataka kila mtu atuambie, including myself, ni pesa ngapi uko nayo? Hizi nyumba unaishi ulitoa wapi? Hii magari uko nayo umetoa wapi? Hii watoto wako kila wakati wakiwa wagonjwa naenda ng'ambo unapelekanga namna gani? Hii uongo unatudanganya kila siku unatudanganya kwa nini? It's up to you guys to ask. It's my humble opportunity to exercise. It's my humble opportunity to exercise your right to vote. To guard that vote, as Mr. Kanye has said. Mr. Kanye that you saw there is a world scientist. He has worked for NASA in the US. He's a statistician, very humble man, and probably that's why Justina chose him. Because if you look at Justina, umeona kama amechoka kwa uso? Umeona kama amechapa? So huyo mnaweza kumwamini na wasichana wenu. That's why alichukua kwa kamjamaa. Nafikiria hiyo ni mambo tutaongea baadaye. Number 2, snakes. Snakes. The Bible says that a snake, which they call a serpent, was a very brave animal. Inaendelea kusema kwamba hiyo ndiyo ilidanganya Adam, Eve. Na hiyo ni story zao, hataki kwenda in between, because kunasemekana kwamba kulikuwa na matunda ilikuliwa huko. Na watu wengine wakakasirika, ndio kwa maana watu wakaanza kujiona uti. Like the kind of snake I'm talking about, ni ile snake yenyewe, original. Hata mimi, nikiwaonyesha hivi journalists, hii yote ni majeraha ya python, when I was a young boy. How it really squeezed me to swallow me. To swallow me. When I was young. Thank God I'm still alive. So I know the dangers of the snake. But the good part of it, the good part of that snake I'm talking about, is that it's carrying something in it. It is carrying something in it that is very productive, that will give us $1 billion US dollars per year. Na mimi nataka watu wachanuke tafadhali. Tumezoea ile lugha ambayo tunafundishwa kila siku for the last 50 years. Tukiambiwa kitu kama hiyo wengine wanakimbia, na wale bloggers wa ule mwingine. Wale bloggers wa ule mwingine ambao mmechukua jina yangu kuongea on my behalf. Endeleeni tu, lakini your lies will soon be disapproved on the 9th when I take over as the president of this country.
Tingiza mti.
Wengine wanajiita Professor Wajackoya kwa Facebook. Ile kizungu wanaandika haki ya Mungu kisoma, unajijazia. We will rear snakes. Can I come back to my snakes, please? Allow me to go the way I am. I'm a professor of law. We will rear snakes. If we did snake farming, each venomous snake farmer will earn an average of $6,000 or $600,000 per vial antivenom. Kadogo tu hivi na nyonga kidogo kanatoka chui kanaingia kwa chupa. Ako peke yake is 600 Kenya shillings unaweka kwa mfuko. Unaiwacha inaendelea. Alafu inasemekana hapo ya kwamba, for example, a cobra farmer will make $6,300 from a vial of cobra antivenom. If you harvest black mamba antivenom, a Kenyan farmer will take $5,300 per vial. Supposing you have 3 snakes. Nyoka tatu tu. Na mtaonyeshwa kuvuga. Mtaonyeshwa how to keep them. You will be shown because the government will give you money from ganja to put a proper infrastructure.
Tingiza mti.
Here you are a ganja farmer. Na unaweka watchman ya nyoka kule kwa ganja ndio mtu asije kukuibia usiku. Alafu una harvest both sides. Will you not be happy? Will you not be happy? Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you that we have wealth. We have wealth in our country. We don't need to depend on these people anymore. You heard the Rastafarians saying here. They said something about Patricia Lumumba. They talked about Haile Selassie. They talked about freedom of emancipation from slavery. When we look around ourselves and we ask ourselves questions, for how long are we going to be dictated upon? For how long are we going to be unemployed? For how long are we going to be told lies? Kazi kwa vijana, alafu napewa wheelbarrow na kijiko. So mmepewa hiyo. Alafu naambiwa at bottom up ikienda juu na wheelbarrow. Na wewe umesoma kizungu, wewe umesoma kwa university, unaenda nyumbani, unaambiwa ati sisi tutakupanga, ati kina boda boda, kina mama. There will be no mama mboga in our government. Kila mtu atakuwa ni enough. There will be no wheelbarrows in our government. Kila mtu alikuwa enough. There will be no hypocrisy in our government. Kila mtu atakuwa enough. There will be no lies. There will be no lies in our government. Kila mtu atakuwa na yake. There will be no theft in our government. Kila mtu atakuwa na pesa yake. Ukienda Greater Somalia, which hived itself from Somaliland, or let me say Somaliland Republic, kulikuwa na mambo mengi ya shifter na gorilla na nini, lakini saa hizi ukienda huko, you can leave your money safe. You don't need to have a bank outside na unalala kwako. Lakini hapa mtu anakuibia, alafu anakuja kukuambia wheelbarrow. Mwingine anatoka huko, anakuambia I'll give you 6,000. What can 6,000 do to you? Surely. What can 6,000 do? At I'll give you 6,000. Nawe mwenyewe tuambie ile pesa uko nayo ulitoa wapi? Wewe tuambie kila siku your family ndio wanaenda bunge wanakuwa hii na come on Kenyans, wake up. My brother is here. He's not even a member of the Roots Party. Where is he? Hey, can you stand up? Yeah. That's my brother, anaitwa Muzito Warumba kwa small radio station kule Bungoma. Lakini yeye namtreat tu kama nyinyi. Hakuna special treatment hapa. Alikuwa anataka kusimama kura, just sit down. Nikamwambia it's your democratic right but not on my party. Because ukijaza mama yako, brother yako, nyanya yako, auntie yako, mnaenda bunge kufanya nini? Why can't you give other people an opportunity? Why can't you give a Rastaman an opportunity as a nominated member of parliament? Why can't you give people who are down there opportunity to be who they are? Why must you be the one having everything? Ukiendesha gari ukienda mahali karibu na mtu mwingine ukiona nyumba to otno en marnga, yani hiyo nyumba ni ya nani? Unataka kujua mwenye hiyo nyumba kama amekuletea pesa. Justina is a very strict person here, and my Secretary General Adam also just stand around here to be seen. Watu hawana mchezo. When it comes to nomination, ukija na meno ya paka watakwambia get out of this place. Thank you, Justina. Sisi nomination yetu ilikuwa kali sana. We did not want hooliganism. You will never see Professor's brother or sister akiwa karibu na mimi. Brokers, that's what I'm talking about. There's no brokerage. All of you are my brothers and sisters. That's why I'm here. Mchina, nitakuja kwa Mchina baadaye. We will export dog meat. Wengine wameanza kusema ati wengine, there's nothing wrong kulala na umbwa yako. There's nothing wrong kutembea na umbwa yako. Dogs are medicine to us also. They are healing. But then we have got excess market of dogs in Lubao market in Kakamega, where we have so many poor people. Where I come from, we have so many dogs. The dogs that were in Madare North, Wachina walikula wakamaliza. Unasikia tu kadogi kamefanywa kitu kamewekwa dawa kamepotea. But we shall export dog meats. to China. We shall export hyena meat in China. Because fisi, hatuhitaji fisi katika Kenya hii. Mchina anakulanga fisi. Na tukichukua mimi nasikia 1000 fisi 1000. Fisi 1000 wanaume wako na makende 2000. Na mimi nasikia hiyo makende ya fisi ni dawa kwa China. Let's speak it the way it comes. Kwa hivyo hiyo makende iko na bei mingi sana kushinda hata ganja. Kende moja ni karibu milioni 6. Kwa hivyo we shall export makende ya fisi, dog meat, pamoja na fisi.
Tingiza mti.
1 kilogram of dog meat costs 6 times more than the price of a kilogram of goat meat. Kenya exports beef, goat and lamb the Middle East, for instance, wherever it is. Kwa hivyo nimewaambia tena, wacha nirudie hiyo point nikiemphasize. Nyama ya nyoka inaenda China. Wakishakula then tumelipa.
Tingiza mti.
Alafu ngozi ya nyoka takuwa na industry hapa ya kutengeneza viatu na kutengeneza kila kitu. This time we are the ones going to export snake skins. Hatutapeleka huko ndio atuuzie tena. Tuendelee. Number 4. Haya, hapa nataka mnisikize vizuri. Hapa nataka mnisikize vizuri. Kuna mtu anaitwa Kemsa. Kuna mtu anaitwa Kimoror Dam. Kuna mtu anaitwa Kura. Kenya Rural sijui nini roads. Tunajua hizo contracts nani wamechukua na kawagawanya. Family ngapi? 3 tunazijua. Niseme nisiseme? Haya. Tuna procurement issues na my sister here has a masters in procurement. Ikitokezea mahali kuna familia ngapi? 5 ambazo zimegawanya Kenya. Mimi niko na solution. Because hatuwezi kufanya hivi kila wakati mtu anatoa pesa. Anakuwa the most revered faithful, unaenda kununua Mungu ndio akulinde na pesa za wizi. Mungu hatakubali mwizi aende amununue. Hata Yesu mwenyewe alikataa kununuliwa alipoonyeshwa ati in my kingdom hii yote ni yangu. Hii mikate iko hapa, kuna tudemu hapa, namna hii na namna ile, inama chini unipigie magoti. Yesu alimwambia huyo mtu alisema nini? Mnasikia hiyo ni yenu. Kwa hivyo hapa kumekuwa na watu they just take no discipline in our society, especially in those who are in social fabric, who are bound to bring social relationships within people. If you see somebody who is meant to cure you emotionally, psychologically, and bring you back to fold, taking stolen money without asking the source of that revenue, taking stolen money, buying himself a can and enriching himself. The same way somebody tried to bring 200 million to me. Ati nichukue hiyo pesa ndio niende ni campaign kwa opponent yake, ndio opponent yake aanguke. Imagine what would have happened to all of you who believe in us. Ninunuliwa na pesa kidogo ndio sasa ile furaha mko nayo iende chini. Nitatembea Nairobi, simtaninyonga. Simtaninyonga. I am on the ballot to do that. We shall hang those people when we put legislation in place. When we suspend the constitution, part of what we are going to ask them is, can we revert to death penalty? Or can we hang them? Because in China, when you steal in China, they hang you. In Japan, when you suspect yourself to have stolen from the government, you commit suicide. In Britain and America and Germany, they take you to jail. But in Kenya, you go to parliament. That is why you see a lot of punitive laws from NACADA, punitive laws and proclamation from those who believe that they are near a God, telling you, mnapotezwa na huyo. Because they know that you are going to seal the loopholes of corruption and the loopholes of free things, because you will have enough money, which will enable Kenyans to build their own churches and mosques. Because if you have the Bible or a Quran, you can directly pray to God. Personally, personal relationship with God. Or you can hire a pastor to come and pray for you, right or wrong. But we shall not have thugs who will walk with the Bible and spit on your head and come and tell you that I can see there is a demon here. If they cannot remove the demon from themselves, how can they remove your demon? Those people who are casting the Rastafarians, those people who are casting other people, huyu ni shetani, shetani ashindwe. But he himself is Satan. Watu lazima wajiangalie, watu lazima ambie watu ukweli, watu lazima preach the right message to the Lord. Watu lazima tuangalie namna hiyo. Hamwezi kuja kulabel the people who want to emancipate you guys from chains of slavery and mental slavery. That, oh, now huyu ametumwa, huyu ni Satan. Wacha nikuwe Satan, but if you follow me, then we shall together go to heaven, if heaven is there. Hallelujah. We are going to write down 3 things. Number 1, ukiwa umepatikana na hatia, umeiba, kutakuwa na choices of kifo. Number A, sentence itakuwa hivi: how would you like to die? Number A, lethal injection. Number 2, being stoned. Number 3, being shot, firing squad. Or number 4, being hanged. I love there will be a caveat there that if you choose number 4, being hanged, then utatengenezewa ugali na chapati na kuku, ndio ukienda kufa uwe umeshi. Kwa hivyo we are going to have hemp. We are going to have a rope made out of hemp. Ile kikamata mara moja unakufa saa hiyo hiyo hiyo. Kweli rongo? If we kill about 14 of them, wengine wata. That's what has happened in China. Huko wezi kuiba. 2 weeks ago they hanged 2 mayors because of corruption. Lakini ile napenda sana ni ile ya Afghanistan. If you are a politician and you have stolen, your hanging method is different from a civil servant. Ukiwa politician, unawekwa sigara kwa mdomo hapa. Kwanza unavalishwa suti na tai, alafu wanafufunua hivi. Wanaweka kamba hapo, wanaweka huko juu. Majuu kabisa. Alafu wakishaweka hivyo, wanakuhakishia sigara, wanakuambia vuta kwanza ukisema mashetani yako. Then they hang you to forget about you for life so that people don't come and steal from us again. Nyonga mwizi. Nyonga mwizi. Nyonga hao. Nyonga hao. Amen. Aka kachuma kutoka Mombasa mpaka Naivasha. Ako kachuma na kaweka ndani ya meli. Nachukua tu Chinese tunaweka kwa hiyo meli na magunia 500 ya bangi. Tunaambia nendeni kwenu. Why am I speaking like this? China is rotten. Wherever the Chinese go, there is a problem. Can I say it? Niseme nisiseme. When they went to Sri Lanka, they took the port of Sri Lanka as collateral. Sri Lanka now is bankrupt. The embassy cannot even afford to pay. It is rent. Civil servant cannot be paid because China has taken their port as collateral. When they went to Mozambique, they took Beira as collateral, the port of Beira, gone. When they went to Zambia, they took Lusaka International Airport, gone. When they went to Uganda, they have taken Entebbe. Entebbe International Airport is under siege. But Museveni has done one thing, and Dr. Gott is here, who has worked for Museveni for years. I am sure, if you didn't advise him, I don't know. Museveni saw that Ugandans were going to lynch him, and you know what he did? He called in the Israelis, and he gave them 150,000 acres to grow wheat. Kusema, fanyeni haraka, nilipe hawa watu Entebbe isiende. Museveni has legalized wheat as a result of the Chinese mismanagement of African economy and neocolonialism. And what the Chinese are doing in this country is very pathetic. We don't know whether they have taken Lamu, whether they have taken Mombasa, and whether they have taken where? Naivasha, no, Kisumu. I'm told they have taken it, if you read today's newspaper. If it is true that they have taken those 3 ports, and then when it comes to our graduate engineers, civil engineers, who are supposed to do their job properly, hao ndio wanafanya kazi ya mkono, mchina anakaa pale, ile mchina ambaye alikuwa amehukumiwa anakuja hapa kufanya kazi kama kafiri, yeye anakaa hapo, kanakaa hivi, tunakaanga hivi na tule tumacho twao tudogo, wanachunga wa Kenya. That's why our roads have become accident zones. Our roads in Kenya, zile built by Chinese, they have become prone to accidents. Sasa wameanza tumaua twingine hapa. Wanasema kwamba, wanasema ati hiyo tu vitu naona tu ile tumkebe tu plastic, ati Jesus Christ. Ati hiyo tumkebe wanaweka maua. Hiyo maua imepewa kandarasi wa Kenya fulani, wa familia fulani. Tumekufa tu na China ndio wamele. Hiyo itakuwa ni bangi.
Ingiza mti.
Of course, as my deputy has said, we shall regulate the growth of bangi for purposes of export and medicinal. The Chinese people will have to leave. I'll be on the 9th, after I have been sworn in, I think, wherever that date. After 2 days, I'll recall Kenyan ambassador to China, immediately to Beijing. And I'll ask the Chinese government to recall the ambassadors, that we start fresh negotiation, and I'll cancel all those contracts. I'll want to know, and Kenyans will want to know, who made these contracts, who signed this contract, what was the kickback? And I'm putting those people on notice. Anyone who was involved in those contracts, alive or dead, you will have to be accountable. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use members of the military. I'm going to call our men and women in the barracks, because they are more disciplined than some of these people. I'll commingle their soldiers, particularly those who have studied law, in special tribunals to help me work on this country. The goodness with the Kenya Army or members of armed forces is that if they are put somewhere, they work clean. And that's why His Excellency, the President of this country, took one of them, General Mbadi, to Nairobi County, and you have seen what Mbadi has done. Hasn't he done something good? Who can clap for General Mbadi? His Excellency, the President, has also gone to Kenya Meat Commission. Hasn't he revived it by putting a general from the Kenya Army? Why can't I also tell our men in the disciplined forces to come out of the barracks and work with us, because they are Kenyans? When they came out to work on Uhuru Park, the engineering battalion from Kenya, they made something which is permanent. If you go to Uhuru Park, walitengeneza kitu safi. Therefore, I'm appealing to our members in Kenya Armed Forces that hata nyinyi, especially the engineering battalion, na vijana wetu wa engineer, mtatoka barracks, mtakuja kujenga barabara zetu, tuwe na specifications zetu. Ile pesa ambayo tungepatia wa Chinese itabaki hapa, because tutakuwa na enough money from Bangi, tutakuwa na enough money from Venom, so that we can prosper. This is a nation of prosperity. This is a nation of prosperity. I know that some people are going to say later on that, oh, huyu mtu anataka kuharibu watoto wetu. Shindwe. Ukienda Jamaica, Jamaica is a great country. Jamaica is a country that grows bangi. Israel grows bangi. Ukienda Jamaica, the number of mental patients in Jamaica is not even there. Lakini ukienda Mathare Mental Hospital, outpatients are 60,000. Inpatients are 20,000. Now, do you want to tell me that I'm mad? I am a madman. I'm a madman to say or to pinpoint at realities. And what kind of medicine are they given anyway in Mathare? Hawapewi dawa. Sisi tuwapatia msokoto wavute tu na watoke. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Ukiona mchinese anakuja anaandika mtu Kenya alafu anamchapa viboko, atamechelewa kazi. Shindwe kabisa. Shindwe kabisa. Washindwe. Next. Do you have more? Yes. Tutafanya kazi siku 4. I'm telling employers and the middle class that we shall open up a 4-day working formula in a 24-hour open economy. where we shall have infrastructure working for 24 hours. Then we shall have 8-hour shift, whereby if you go in the morning at 8, you leave at 4. Somebody goes to work at 4, he leaves at 11. And the last shift is from 11 to 6 in the morning, which will mean that the rate of employment will increase. The relationship between employer and employee, the relationships between employer and employee will be cordial. Labor laws that are very restrictive will be abolished. And then on Friday, the Muslim community in the entire Kenya will have a holiday. And Kenyans will also be free on Friday in a 24-hour economy, 8 hours a shift, double production. What are we losing anyway? On Saturday, the Seventh-day Adventists is your day. And on a Sunday, Hallelujah churches, your day. But the minority Rastafarians, every day. Besides the Ministry of Hemp, which will be headed by Dr. Gwada, there will also be the Rastafarian and Minority Ministry, where a Rastafarian will become the first minister in my government in this part of the world. And pregnant women, pregnant mothers, we shall have enough money to take care of you as soon as you become pregnant. We are told you are by scientific evidence. Because you are 2 in 1. A woman carries somebody in her stomach for 9 months. That person kicks that woman, does all the damage in her to make her think the other way around. Then after the child is born, the child has actually to have accessories of a mother. They TT the mom, putting scars on her body in terms of those scars when mtoto ananyonya. Kuta mwingine ni wazimu, badala kunyonya mama hapa, anauma. Those scars are painful. They're emotional. And then after that also, a mama takes responsibility of that child. It's my sincere hope that mothers will be given, pregnant mothers will be given a stipend, whether married or not married, to take care of themselves for that period. We shall have enough resources, and whoever touches on a woman, the punishment will be there, and that one will come when we take over. We are also like, no, we shall talk, because you also know that there are some men that are beaten by their wives. Like mimi bibi yangu amenipiga twice, na mimi nasema it's okay. I walk away. Akinichapa kofi nasema thank you mom. I walk away. Then she comes looking for me and say, honey, can you come back? What about if I slapped her back? Will we have peace in that house? Sometimes there is that coffee I love. Mtu anakuchapa kidogo ndio ive. Ama namna gani? Alafu wewe unatoka huko, unaanza kuweka mangumi kwa mama. You are punching what? There will be a severe punishment for those people who do that. There will be no domestic violence in my government. But even if there will be, we shall have to look at them and find out the solution. We shall not rush to the police stations when we have other mechanisms that we can solve domestic problems. The issue of the police or police will come later on. And let me tell you this. Having been a police officer myself, I am so bitter when I see people abusing policemen. What you don't know is that policemen are underpaid. What you don't know is that anything that comes from the government is heaped on a policeman as a punching bag. Wengine wanaenda Japan or China wanakuja hapa wanasema kuanzia leo askari atavaa uniform ya blue. The constitution says, that's why we want to abolish it, that to constitute me, to make me, please ask me to have popular participation in what you want to transshape me. Police officers are never asked. They are given orders. You find that a graduate police officer today, when he joins police service, the police service as a constable, he earns the salary of a constable. A graduate police officer who joins the police as an inspector of police earns the graduate salary. But these people all help loans and interests. Now you tell me, somebody is being given peanuts and somebody is given that, and also the moral solidarity is not there. There is morality, there is solidarity with the morality, because if the two classmates who have joined the police, one as a constable and one as an inspector, earning different salaries, don't you think tuko na shida hapo? Don't you think that we should be proud of our men and women and empower them to do the right work, empower them so that they don't become corrupt, empower them so that they don't become pets of corruption? Don't you think that the police officers should be recognized through empowerment so that they are given the right dues? Instead of being given 15,000 shillings to rent a house in Nairobi, na unaenda na bunduki yako, no vehicle. Police officers are on top of my agenda. We shall make the best police force in the country, with one exception, that they will not be arresting Kenyans, because there will be no need of arresting them. We shall have enough money to take care of everybody. So, we shall have a 24-hour working economy. I don't know whether that was number 6. Did you have number 6? Now, number 7. Yeah, number 7, please. These are the commandments of German. These are the commandments of our manifesto. We will suspend the Constitution. I've spoken about that. I will ask Kenyans, through the preamble of We the People, which supersedes the entire Constitution. I'm a lawyer, for God's sake. A lot of lawyers here are very ignorant. They always say the Constitution says. The Constitution says. But they have no idea of what they are saying apart from simplicity in law school. Unaenda unasoma kadigri kamoja, unakuwa lawyer, umejifanya wengi. Na sisi tumesoma mpaka tumechambua kila kitu. Let them know that the word the Constitution is in the preamble. Those first words that start. Hii ingine inakuja huku. That is supplementary. The preamble says we the people. That's where we stop. So long as you give me the mandate to be the president, I'll go back to the preamble and say, I've been given the rights of we the people. And therefore, I will have a right to suspend the Constitution, put it on hold, and ask Kenyans, translate it in all tribes, all languages, and ask Kenyans, what is it that you want? In judiciary, how comes that cases take longer in Kenya than any other place? How comes that corrupt people are jailed for 67 years, they appeal, and when they come out of the appeal, they go to seek for electoral seat? Come on, you know who we are talking to. How comes that that case of Chicken Gate versus IEBC, which was 10 years ago, is still ripe in Kenya? And those who committed the same felony, fallacious felony, in Britain have been tried. Those found guilty were jailed, and they're out of jail 4 years. Hapa, akina Oswago are still walking freely, whether he's innocent or not. Let me tell you, the judiciary, wherever you are, the Chief Justice, wherever you are, I'm telling you, as a brother, I am telling you, judges, you will have to account for all your wealth. Because once you suspend the Constitution, it will not be bread as over. We shall ask Kenyans to review the Constitution and find out whether they will want domestic trials by jury, traditional trials by the elders, or dispute alternative mechanism from the bottom, from down there. Mtoto akipigana na mwenzake, na they are brothers, they come from the same clan, or they are Kenyans. Let the parents intervene. Ask both parents, what do we do with these children? Rather than kuchukua mtoto ambaye is not even 18 years old or is not ripe enough to know what he's doing, unatupa kwa police station. Unampeleka huko mtoto ambaye alikuwa anasoma, anakutana na watu wengine huko ambao anamfanyia maovu, unampeleka kotini, unampeleka rumande. Is that the kind of judicial system we want? All the judges and magistrates who have been taking cases from here to there, and I'll find out if a case has been pending for 5 years, I'll look at all those magistrates and judges, and we shall ask them, how comes hii case imechukua miaka mingi? What interest did you get in it? Tutawanyonga hao. Nyonga hao. Nyonga hao. I'm the first person to say this, and I don't fear them, because hao huenda choo vile mimi naenda, hao hulala vile mimi hulala, you know, I'm angry, but I'm a president, I can't show my anger. But hao watu, semeni hivyo, hao watu, hao waizi. Wanyongwe. Thank you. Number 8, Nairobi is overpopulated, right or wrong? Tanzanians wameanza na Dodoma as a capital city, administrative city, because of congestion in land. Nigeria have put up Abuja as their capital. In Kenya, I would suggest that we create a new capital in Isiolo, because Isiolo has got so much land that if we start building, we cannot even finish. We shall take our administrative capital in Isiolo. We shall improve the lives of the people of Isiolo and Northeastern and Eastern by taking our infrastructures and asking companies that want to build up or to move to Isiolo to give them tax rebates, to encourage them to be like Delaware, so that those who are willing to go and build Isiolo, we exempt them from tax for the first 5 years to attract investment. Dubai was built on the sand. But here, everybody here wants to stay in Nairobi. We now have jiggers in Nairobi. Nairobi River has been polluted. The soil is compressed. The sewage system is compressed. You find these rich men going to acquire government land and building houses on them. Hizo zote kabla tujanyonga tutang'oa zote ziende chini. Ng'oa yote vitu ya wizi. Ng'oa yote. Na wale ambao wanarukaruka hapa wanasema ati waje niwaambie kwa kitu. Unajua Kenya sometimes we are Fallopians. Fallosians. Let me speak like a Luo who never went to university. And Fallopians, but the tribe aspect is not here, though I speak the language, but I'm a Kenyan. This issue of branding people, these people of selling people that are in projects, imetoka kwa wale ambao mnajua. Sisi as Roots Party, we are very neutral. Hatuna matusi, we are Rastamen. Rastaman never accuses anybody. Hawa sasa wameanza kunichukua na Justina, huyu yuko Azimio, huyu yuko, washindwe! Washindwe kabisa. We are on the ballot, that's what I'm trying to say. And Isiolo people, wherever you are, mahali mupo, Isiolo mupo, tunakuja huko kujenga a new capital city, na mniruhusu nikiwa rais wenyu, hata State House itaenda Isiolo. Parliament will be shifted to Isiolo. State House will be shifted to Isiolo. Administrative buildings zitaenda Isiolo. Hapa will remain as an industrial city. Tuambia watu ya Kiambu ya kwamba you have fed Nairobi, you can as well now do your thing and feed Isiolo. Kweli rongo? Asante. Na iko ingine imebaki. Now, this is where some people go crazy. Everyone wants an identity. If you go to Nigeria, for example, and you go to Ondo State, the number plate ya magari Ondo State in Ondo 1, Ondo 2. Ukienda Lagos, utaona magari imeandikwa Lagos State, the pride of the state. But in Kenya, we're going to introduce 8 regions for administrative purposes. And we shall have chief ministers in each region. Counties will remain within regions. The federal government will operate from Isiolo, whereby each state will have its own parliament, and each state will have its own counties. We shall no longer have 47 governors. We shall have county officers, and whatever state wants to name them or to conjugate them into what have you, it will be there. So that tukiwa na Rift Valley, for example, Nakuru will be the capital city of Rift Valley. And then if a county like Narok produces unga ya ngano, wheat, tourism, hides and skins, the revenues collected in Narok will be debated in the capital city of Nakuru, whereby it's up to the Nakuru city, the Nakuru parliament to decide. When it comes to appropriation of funds and taxation, wataangalia waseme which county has got more revenue. Let us apportion this kind, 70% or 60% to this county. Then 10% can go to federal government to help us in administrative issues, rather than the current system which we have, where all monies are collected by the government, and by the time they go to governors who have become thieves. In fact, I'm going to prosecute almost all of them. I'm going to ask them why they are joining Azimio. Magavana sa wale ambao tunajua wameiba, wengine wameenda Azimio, wengine wameenda Kenya Kwanza kusimama kama MP ndio wapate wamepeana watu pesa ndio wafunike ile uchafu yao. Mnaelewa ama muelewi? alafu ndio sasa wasimame ile pesa ambayo wameiba ipotelee huko. Hapana, serikali ya Justina na Wajackoya tutakunyonga tu. A governor will never hide from ninth. Wale magavana ambao wamemaliza 2 terms, you have nowhere to go. You can run, and you can run, but we shall hold you accountable for all the monies. That's why we are proposing 8 regional assemblies, so that people can be accounted to those assemblies. So that when we come now to instrumentalities of commerce, let me speak now like an educated man. When it comes to instruments of commerce, instrumentalities, something owned by the federal government, something owned and paid for by the federal taxes. For example, a highway that is coming from Mombasa, passing through various counties, will be the responsibility of the federal government to maintain. Now, where there is a federal instrument, like a telephone communication wire, which passes from one state to another state, the taxes that are levied on that will be proportionate to what the government has gotten from the state government, whereby we may have 2 sets of taxation. The federal taxation, when you pass through the instrumentalities of commerce, you want to drive your goods from Mombasa to Naivasha, you pass through other counties, then you have to be levied tax to maintain the federal roads that you are driving on, right or wrong. And on top of that also, what I want to say is that there are so many people who have lost their revenue as a result of that Kachuma railway. There are men and women who had infrastructural services, such as transporting functionaries, where we had people with lorries who are transporting goods from the port of Mombasa to the interior of Africa. People who had employed almost a workforce of 500,000 tani boys na loaders, whose monopoly was taken away from them and given to SGR. And those people have been made bankrupt. Those people who are employed by them have been made redundant. My government is going to pay all of them. As we eject this railway, before I go to that point to finish, as we remove that Kachuma, we shall have a new modern technology designed by Kenyan engineers in terms of our infrastructure, in terms of our instrumentalities like railways and highways, in terms of our airports and waterways, whereby the state of Nakuru, the state government of Nakuru, will have now to find out how communication and transportation will be made easy by building their own airports from the monies and subsidies that will be getting from monies generated from counties, and also the federal government. Which means that if you look at the proportionalities of the monies that we talked about, the generating revenue from bang and snake farming, we shall have enough money to take care of everything. We shall no longer be pigeons of anybody. We shall no longer be looking at things. And before I continue, we shall introduce the underground rail system in cities. We shall have people now to decongest, because there will be no borders. Borders will be rich. Because there will be no mamambogas, we want to make transportation system equitable in terms of equity, requiring clean hands as opposed to unclean hands. We shall build the underground systems, and we shall start by demonstrating on projects from Isiolo as a city, as we build cities going up and up. And therefore, the logic behind creation of 8 states is by having state identity. I come from Kakamega, let me say it like that. We shall have the Kakamega, Western state, maybe Kakamega will be the capital, or Busia, or Bungoma, and we shall have tags on our licensing motor vehicles made from, like, let me say Kakamega. Unajua ni mtu wa Kakamega, ikiwa ni Kiambu 1, ikiwa ni Central, ikiwa Central 1, you'll be proud of your heritage. So that people who are outside can come back in this country and say, we are happy. Instead of having a central government where the president makes it all, takes it all at home, where we've had some Phoebians of insolvency, or Phoebians of immorality, or Phoebians of insolidarity, who come in with things like BBI, so that they can have handshakes to please themselves, to have themselves in power forever, to have their children and wives take over from the poor people. We shall not allow that. In my government, we shall not allow that kind of discrepancy. Point number 9, 10, we shall deport all undesirable aliens. We shall deport the Chinese first. Wa China watakwenda kwao, tutawapatia makende ya fisi, tutawapatia nyama ya fisi, tutawapatia nyama ya nyoka, tutawapatia bangi, wakae kwa, tuendelee na kwe, na zile contracts wa China wamesign kuchukua port zetu, if that is true, I will cancel them, and I will cancel all contracts so that Kenya is redesigned to be built again. Ladies and gentlemen, as I leave, I would like you to pledge one thing. We need peace. We don't need to fight. When we live here, let's live as Rastas. Let's live with order. You saw us in Kakamega. You saw us in Busia. You saw us in Kisumu. Did you hear or did you see any incident where a stone was thrown at us? Because we just appeared. We just appear, and people follow us. We went to Kirinyaga, we went to Embu, we have been to reggae clubs, and continue spreading the word. Kenyans have become millionaires because of me. They have made shirts out of me to earn a living. They have made stickers, and the only way you can demonstrate DJ, and my DJs what of course mtakuwa na ministry yenu, is to spread the word the way you are spreading. Ukitengeneza kitu kama wile mama ambaye ametengeneza vikombe na picha yetu ama ya Justina, tengeneza, uza, upate hela, uweke kwa mfuko until bangi yetu ya kwanza itaiva mwaka ujao. Asanteni sana. May God bless you. God bless you. Wajackoya! 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 Can I have my deputy to come and say what?
Wait. Sijasikia kelele mzuri ya the fifth.
Now. My deputy,
wait.
Hold on. My deputy will have something to say. Then it will be closed by the German, the Pope. I thought I was the Pope of Ganja. But today we have the Pope man. The Pope man, the spiritual man. Me, I'm the Pope of Ganja, right?
The fifth.
Mimi ndio Pope of Ganja.
The fifth.
Thank you. The fifth. Thank you.
Naomba kidogo rais, iko vijana wanataka wa perform, then we can close. We have wakardinali in the house. Wakardinali, then we can close. Sindio? Wakardinali. Yeah? Fire. Wakardinali. Demakufu. Si uchangamshe watu kidogo tukingoja wakardinali kidogo.
Everybody telling me to.
He must be the most genius I've ever seen in my life.